Well, good to have you with us here on the Sunday edition of the South African Morning. I'm Gareth Edwards. Tomorrow, International Women's Day. We'll be celebrating it all day here on eNCA, and we begin that celebration today. This year's theme is Choose to Challenge. Itumeleng Mogatusi-Sekgota is challenging the male-dominated mining industry. She uses her job as a sustainability integration specialist to improve the lives of communities affected by mining. She's also a UN Sustainable Development Goal Ambassador. So it's a huge pleasure to welcome Itumeleng to eNCA this morning. Itumeleng, good morning to you. I think before we talk about your incredible title that you have now ahead of International Women's Day tomorrow, you used to be a trained scientist, and I want to read this because I love this title. You used to be a trained scientist as a mine dewatering hydrogeologist. Please tell me you used to put that on a business card. And then why did you move away from that to do what you're doing now? Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth, to you and your viewers. Yes, that's what I used to do before joining sustainability. So my career in mine dewatering hydrogeology started in Saibono, where I saw a magazine, and it was a man standing in the middle of the river, and his job was titled hydrogeologist. It said it was a male-dominated industry, and South Africa was in demand of hydrogeologists. So I started my career at Wits University, where I studied geology and hydrogeology, and then was trained at Anglo-American through their flagship graduate program. So working as a hydrogeologist really challenged me, and I absolutely loved it. So I worked across South Africa and abroad, helping our mines to ensure that groundwater does not affect the mining operations. I gained extensive working experience working with different groups of people, both for mine dewatering, slope depressurization, as well as mine water management. But I had always been inspired into sustainability in 2017 when I was part of a group of young bright young minds called the Brightest Young Minds Africa, where 100 of us across the continent were chosen, and that's where I was introduced to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So when I came back from one of the opportunities I had while working as a hydrogeologist, I worked in Chile for 2 years. This is where I learned to speak Spanish. So when that great opportunity, which was also another highlight in my career, ended, I came back to South Africa, and an opportunity to join the sustainability team came about. I grabbed it with both hands.
I can imagine the amount of change that you've seen happening over the years. But I want to bring you back to South Africa for just a moment and your career here so far, Itumeleng, and ahead of International Women's Day, with someone with your rapport and your CV, and I'm sure there's even more involved than what you could tell me there. How are you turning the tide against a male-dominated mining industry with the theme Choose to Challenge? How are you doing this, do you think? I've got a couple of minutes left with you.
Yeah, I love the theme Choose to Challenge. I think one of the ways of turning the tide that I'm doing in my current role, mining has been seen as an industry that is not really contributing towards sustainability. So with the commitments that we have made as a business, we are choosing to challenge the status quo to say that mining is not seen as a development agent, but we are saying that as a mining company, and in my role, I'm choosing to challenge the status quo of only focusing within the mine gate, but now saying that as a company, what can we do outside of the fence to make sure that our communities also benefit from our presence. So with the work that I do, I make sure that we plan, we budget, and we track initiatives which are aligned to impacting our communities positively, and that our purpose is not just a tagline, but it's something that we live towards, which is to reimagine mining to improve people's lives.
So in the last minute or so, I just want to hear from you. How are you taking on men in this industry? Have you been well received, or are you ruffling some egos?
Well, it's a very challenging industry, but for myself, I think I've always told myself to not live up to the standards that have been set, but to carve my own path. So I think my ability to work well with different kinds of people, whether you are a man, whether you're a female. So how I have challenged is really ensuring that you get to know people. People are people at the end of the day. They can be men, they can be maybe arrogant, but they have families, they have children. And once you get to know people and understand some tools and tricks on influencing, you're able to make a difference.
And congratulations to you as well, and I hope you have a wonderful International Women's Day tomorrow. You really are leading from the front. Itumeleng Mogatusi-Sekgota joining us, now a UN Sustainable Development Goal Ambassador. I had the chance to speak to her just a day ahead of International Women's Day. I just love that title. I was trained as a mind-dewatering hydrogeologist. It just tickles me. What a title. I'd love to have that title.